back again after the break, and the first hand I raised with ace queen and got called by 2 spots, and the board came king 5 8 8 5, and for some reason I bet the flop, checked, and my ace I won the hand. Queen 9, nothing to write home about, nothing to bet with. Jack 4 didn't do very much good last time, Jack 4 suited, because that's what I got knocked out with, I think, or Jack 6 or Jack 5 or something, which probably I shouldn't have been playing with, but I was, and then went all in with a flush draw. Right, I'm going to have a quick look at state of play, how many players are left. After 69, there are now up to 8 prizes. How many on the table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get to the final table, gets you a massive €60, and if you win the tournament, it's 487.50. And there are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Someone's on 15,500, and another dozen or so are on more than 10. Fold that one, and then let's just have a look. Much for muchness, most of the players are between 3 and 5 or 6. How long have we got till the add-on? Let's see. Well, rebuys are for 60 minutes, and we've been going for 64 minutes. Is that right? Well, I've not been going for 64 minutes because I entered very late, but everybody else has. Well, not everybody else, but lots of players have. And I'm not going to take an add-on because I'm trying to do like especially when I'm doing these broadcasts, I'll stick to a plan, and my plan was 1 rebuy or add-on, and that's my own fault for losing my initial stack. Which isn't the right way of going about it. So I've taken all the money out.
Change is coming, Danny.
Easy. Right, where were we? Let's call that one. I'm tempted to bet this. Not now, on the river. If he checks. Let's bet a little over half. Jack 5 again. Or Jack 4, Jack 5. Yeah, this is what tends to happen. As soon as players finish the rebuy period, it starts to get a bit loose, which is why my friend Nick Diaz, Poker Manager, set me this task of using as few lives as possible, because they all start getting loose now. It's quite good fun when you're playing catch up sometimes. Plus I had no choice anyway, because we're starting my account from scratch for a laugh. Just continue as you mean to go on. Not got away with it, at least not yet. Okay. Shall we have another go? Just a min raise. Okay, quick update, let's see where we are now then. Let's have a quick look. So of the 60 players remaining, the average stack is just over 13. And where are we? 45th on 9. Leaders on 30 plus, and then within 7 or 8 places, 1, 2, 3, even 10th is just double what we've got. Nick would be proud if he was awake. Just check that one, of course. 2 pairs, so we'll make a quick bet. Well, that's the only card we didn't want, isn't it? I'm guessing he's got not a king. There we go. Didn't want to bet just in case it got raised. Bumps us up to 10. Quite a fun challenge, actually. Fold that one. Rocketing up the field to 37th. Still only 8 prizes. Quick double up and we'll be 8th. Okay, so our friend Ace, whatever that name that is limped. We're going to limp. See what happens if we get to see the flop for this. If we won't, I'm going to call this regardless. Right, they've both got decent hands, and we haven't. That makes it frustratingly interesting. Obviously calling is wrong, but there you go. Sure, we had an ace. $58 left. I thought it would have been a little bit more loose by this stage. I'm a bit surprised, actually. There were a few all-ins earlier on, straight after the rebuy period ended, and now we're sort of slowed down again. Well, some have, some haven't. He doesn't look very happy, does he? But he's on 32,000 chips. So while we're sitting here looking at our 2-5, I can tell you that Alan's an all-in. Let's wait a second to see what. Oh, 3 all-ins. just as I was saying it quieting down, and I was surprised there were no all-ins, we get 3. Like London buses. Right, oh yeah, I'm going to be twitching quite a lot from now on. And every day we're going to have different, not necessarily challenges like this one, but looking at all different aspects of poker, from satellites to cash games, different strategies of playing cash games, trying to qualify for such things as the Wise Guys nightly tournaments. They're on 32 Red. They're daily nightly at 9 p.m. every day. There's a Wise Guys special free roll for players who made, I think it's the top 32 in the Cash Wise Guys leaderboard, and all you have to do is make any profit at all. If it's 1 cent, that's enough, and make 500 redbacks, I think, which is quite easy, really. I don't mean it's easy to make a profit, but it's not too taxing a task to get yourself in the Wise Guys Cash tournament. So we're going to be looking at doing that. There's also weekly, every Monday, there's a Wise Guys Sit and Go final tournament. And again, I think it's for the top 32 players. If you make the top 32 players, make a profit. And again, you need to make 500 redbacks. And there's also a monthly multi-table tournament final, which is, I think the prize money of that is 500 altogether. And but they're well worth playing in. Even the cash game one, sometimes there's only a handful of players who have made it. So you could be sitting there, 3 prizes, only 4 or 5 players. First prize is 50, then 30, then 20 euros. So it's because it's free to play. It's worth, if you're just wanting to play a couple of cash game sessions in a day, try and get in enough redbacks and a little bit of a profit before midnight, and then the next day you're in the tournament at 9 o'clock. So we'll be looking at things like trying to qualify for that, probably if even playing at the lower levels, lower blind levels, different strategies, how to play when you're playing cash games, satellites, trying to satellite yourself into various online tournaments, as well as the Market Gaming Poker Tour, which I mentioned earlier. Fish party games now, they are very interesting because it's a progressive jackpot, and they're 3-player sit and goes with 1 prize only, unless you hit the big jackpot. But basically, you could play for €1, and the prize pool could be thousands and thousands of euros. And only a few weeks ago, a Canadian friend of mine, was sitting down playing a €5 game, and he hit the tournament hit the jackpot prize pool. It was a 6-figure sum anyway, and he won a lot of money. So they're also interesting to think about playing in, and it's a different strategy to a normal sit and go, given that there's only 1 prize and you started with 3 players, and we're gonna have a look at those as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Just basically anything to do with poker, playing poker, we're just going to cover on a day-to-day basis, or at least most days. And then when it comes to night time, we'll play a couple of these tournaments, but mainly at least a couple of times a week I'll be playing Plus Royale. And tomorrow, for instance, we're having a special free roll tournament with places in various tickets and set tickets for the Escalator tournament series that's 9th to 16th of April. And there'll be a bounty on my head, which, as we've seen so far, isn't that difficult to get, is it? Easiest bounty of all time. And I'm not sure what the tournament time is tomorrow, but we could make that into a weekly thing. And so 10 years ago, there used to be a tournament called Be the Bounty. That was the bounty. And it was quite funny because sometimes the bounty was so big compared with the prizes that anytime I got involved in a hand, everybody was going all in. So this will be a bit more of a sober affair. But yeah, bounty on my head, easy money. I think it's a €22 ticket for a tournament. Right, we'll just call that one. The more I talk, the easier it gets. And we're going to bet this one. No, we're not. Ooh, that's so tempting. Still going to have chips left if we lose. It's a tenner off a straw. It's not that tempting. Down to 50. Let's have a look at the average stack. Why does that keep disappearing when I want to look at the thing? Lead is on 37. Quickly goes down. Fold that. Quickly goes down to... Actually, now the lead is on 49. 10 places below him, they're only on 20. What are we on? 8. Plenty to play for, yeah. So there's now 11.50 before we even start per pot. And I was just going to say, it makes a little raise worthwhile. Another all-in from Gary Baldy. Let's see what he's got this time. I'm not going to see. Christian. It's tempting just to call this guy, but no. Certainly not there. 8. Oh, that's cruel. Flops are straight. We'll raise this one. I think in the not so long from now, it's going to start getting a little bit more frenetic, I think. Well, it's going to get more. It's going to get frenetic. It's not frenetic now, is it? Well, unless that's a monster, we're doing okay. A little bit lucky there, really. But that's what you get for calling yourself Man City. I won't tell you who I support. But I can tell you that I'm from a place called Castleford, which is near Leeds. And 32 Red have a shirt sponsorship deal, which probably many of you know, with Leeds United, Championship team in the English League. And so I was brought up within a few miles of Leeds, and the inevitable school trips to their ground, which is Ellen Road. And I think I went at least once, and for some reason I just didn't like it at all, and I ended up supporting another team, shall we say, not in Yorkshire. So the weird thing is that 32 Red sponsor Leeds, and in Scotland they sponsor Rangers, and I now live in Glasgow, down the road from where Rangers play, and Celtic, of course. So when people ask me what I do, half the town, half the city, being Celtic fans, sometimes when I don't know beforehand, you never know whether or not you should say, yes, I'm poker ambassador for 32 Red. Because half the city will just immediately take a dislike to me, and the other half will be quite welcome. So yeah, the 32 Red sponsors Leeds and Rangers, who are probably some 30 points or so behind Celtic. But I don't support Rangers, by the way. And as a child, I used to support Celtic. We'll call that one. We'll even call this one. What's 1750 between friends? Fingers crossed. Shouldn't have said that. Let's pretend to think. Nope. Nope. Try and pick our spots a little bit more. Quick recap. How many players left? 47. And the leader, it's the same leader, he's just doing well all the way through, is on 58. Ooh. He's on 58, and then we're down to second place is on 37. And around about 13th, 14th is on 20. And 24, if we doubled up, would be get us right in contention. And it's tempting just to look at that last hand, because we have 10 Queen of Spades. But we wouldn't have been in there at the death anyway, would we? And nor are we in that hand. So Garibaldi was all in with the hand I had earlier, King and Queen of Hearts. There he goes again. Mr. Man City looks like he's going to be relegated. My team isn't Man United, by the way. Another one. Now it's changing. Hotting up a little bit now. Or a little bit more. Another Jack 5. Hand of the day. Theme of the day. And I'm looking at what I see on Twitch. And so that's what, 5 minutes ago, and that's Jack 2. And there we have it. From 3,000 to 21,000 in no time. Now what am I going to do? Now that the all-in fest has started. Only 2,600 if I make a raise. Let's pretend, let's see. Well, it didn't really work, but we can't really complain. Well, we can complain, but I'm not going to complain. Never complain when you win the pot and win some chips. Two five again. So let's have a quick recap. 115, 14 and a half, which is only 4,000 behind the average. And let's look at the leader, the same player. And he's actually called, or she is called, Damage is Back. Now on 77,000. And even a bigger lead than before, which was 20,000, now 23,000 ahead. And 10th place. In fact, there are only 6 players with more than 30,000. It's all relative. And it's 1:34 AM here. And I'm quite tired. So I've been up for a long time. And then I have to get up and wake my partner up at 6:15, which I do every day. Okay, we'll steal those blinds and antes. That was easy. 400, 800. So where have we just gone up? Just gone up now. 400, 1716 the pot. This is where the fun really does start because people are so tempted. And the dilemma is often, do you try and steal by going all in, or do you just make a sensible raise? And really you should be making a sensible raise. But everybody seems to, not everybody, but so many players are just going all in at this point. Christian's very solid. Didn't even notice how they got to 32,000. Let's see where people are from. I guess that's in Denmark or Norway or somewhere. Panama, no way. Anywhere. That's good to know. Auto fold. Often when players do that, if you just sit and just don't do anything for a while in that position, give them some time to actually decide to auto fold. Whereas if you bet straight away, then it gets them thinking what their options are. So I'll be pausing again. In fact, let's have another go. Whoops, that was too late. Probably a good thing. I didn't realise I'd gone to 2,400. I should have just wanted to min raise there. But this time he's thinking. That was money saved. 38 players left, 8 prizes. 1:37 a.m. Just writing something in the chat for myself. The mighty 9-2. I was playing a tournament yesterday, Sunday Showdown, and the players on either side of me had the same avatars. There used to be a comedian in America years ago, quite disgusting actually, but quite funny. And I think he was called the Paper Bag Man. It was in the 80s, maybe even the 70s, which was before my time, but probably the 80s. And that was the whole gimmick. That he just had a plastic bag, paper bag on his head. And I think I remember who the actor. I think he was an actor, but I forget now. Normally, well, not normally. I just aren't a fan of fun view tables and all the different things you can get, because I just like to keep it really simple, not to be distracted. Very boring player that I am. But Nick, the poker manager, my very good friend, thinks that this is a much better format just to look at, more fun. Plays like avatars, and it is. I must say, you do actually look at people's avatars and almost try and make some kind of psychological assessment about them, which I mean, really, pretty irrelevant, pretty pointless, but could mean something. Ace King loses to King King. Unlucky. Ace Jack's almost a small hand. It's not a hand that you're ever comfortable with, and I won't be calling that, despite the fact that this player's gone all in already. No. Another middling, annoying, slightly frustrating hand. Ooh. No. Not because of the all-in, by the way, because this player's been very solid. Not even been trying to steal the pots, so it's really giving that player more credit rather than super whatever this player's called. Superfish, very funny. Very tempting though that was. Which reminds me of a discussion I had today actually with Nick, poker manager, Nick DS, about how you play when you're broadcasting these things and when people are watching. Not that I mind being scrutinised, I really don't care about that, but just to keep the game going, really, just keep it interesting. Because I might have been tempted to go all in then, and of course you should just play the same regardless whether or not you're recording something. But if I'd have been if I'd have got knocked out, then that'd have been it. And in a way, you want to just keep it going sometimes, just to continue the stream. And also, then if you're out, and then I'd be thinking, oh, I should have just carried on playing and chatting away. For what it's worth, that was interesting then. Ace Queen. not a bad hand. Sometimes players are just going to go all in and hope for the best, especially when they've been believed hands earlier. But maybe my 10s weren't good enough anyway. But it was Christian who was putting me off. Gary Baldy's back with the all-in. What happened to Gary Baldy? I must have missed that hand when 20,000 before. In fact, I'm going to have a look. Let's see. Gary Baldy. Right. Down to 1,000 at one point. Went from 15 to 1 with 6s against ace queen. Fair enough. Well, not fair enough, but that's what happened. And now he's out. Down to 33. Which is still a lot of players at 1:44 AM. When I was a professional chess player, my favourite tournaments were blitz tournaments where you only have 5 minutes on. There's a special chess clock where both players have a certain amount of time each for the game, and a blitz chess is, well, usually it's anything from 5 minutes per player per game down to even 1, which is called bullet chess, I think. And I used to love playing blitz tournaments, and in France you could tour around France playing. I used to play tournaments every weekend, because I'm an international master, and they basically pay for your expenses and you win some prize money, and you could just play in France alone the whole year round. But I used to love playing 24-hour blitz tournaments where you play about 100 games, 120 blitz games, 5 minutes each, and you'd stop for maybe 15, 20 minutes, probably 4 or 5 times in that 24-hour period. But I was younger then, but even now I'm a night owl. I'm just really just had a busy day now, but I used to love playing those tournaments. It was very interesting. So you turn up at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and start playing, and then just keep playing another 24 hours. And if you manage the first 7 or 8, the rest is you're on autopilot. And when I was 19, 18, 19 or 20 something, I won the British Lightning Chess Championships, which is even odder in that every 10 seconds, in lightning chess at least, every 10 seconds a buzzer goes in this silent playing hall. And the buzzers, I think it lasts for about 2 seconds, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. And during the time that the buzzer makes this noise, you play your move. And if you move before or after, you lose the game automatically. And I was going to say it sounds easy. It probably sounds quite difficult, but even for professional players, the deeper you get into the game, with so many possibilities, and especially against other professionals, 10 seconds is just nothing. You're just playing completely on instinct and nerves. And when I was quite young, I won the British Lightning Championships. So to me, poker is very much like just a very, very long run of very quick chess games. Each hand's like a mini game almost. And there are so many similarities with poker and chess. Even the psychological aspects are quite similar. And I know that many people play chess, switch to poker, or at least start playing poker as well and attracted to poker. And a lot of my old friends in the chess world I know are very interested in poker. In fact, I want to get them watching and playing on 32 Red. And the transition from chess to poker's not something that hasn't happened before. There's quite a few people who've switched from professional chess to professional poker. and never the other way around. Chess is just not the kind of game that you suddenly become good at when you're 20 or 30 or whatever. If you're not a very good player when you're quite young, it's very hard. And I was a late starter. I didn't play any tournaments until I was 10 or 11. And quite a lot of my contemporaries were sort of county players at 7 or 8 years old. So it's not that difficult to take up poker at any age, as we all know. Whereas chess, the other way around, is not easy at all. And out of the two games, I like them both the same. They're both fascinating. So where are we now? 29 players. I'm near the bottom of the pack again. But that can change so quickly. Next time I get king, it'd be nice to get a call. Although now having been moved, I'm guessing I've been moved, have I been moved? Then I've got to start again looking at how people play. Although I think the theme is going to be pretty similar to the other table. Surely it's not going to be conservative. Well, that was an easy way to pick up the pot, wasn't it? For a round of blinds. Gives us a bit more breathing space. I'll have a look again at the state of play. So we have how many players left? 29. 29 players. I'm on 15. And I always have a look at where a double up would put me, and it would put me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would put me not too far off a final table. Damage is back. Has seen his stack damage, and he was on 70 something thousand, and now he or she is on 31. So I wouldn't be so far behind that player if I doubled up. That's how quickly things can change. And the lead is now on 69.70, and they have a 25,000 chip lead over second place. Second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth are all within 3,000 of each other. Only 40, 42, 43. So that just shows how easily you can zoom up not the leaderboard, but you can zoom up the table from being near the bottom to near the top. Which, if that happened now, my friend Nick would be saying, "There you go. You didn't need to have an add-on, but yeah, you do really." At least I'd recommend that's what you do. And having said that, he does very well, following his own advice. He hangs in there, and then he tends to go quite deep. Ace Jack again. Is this really such a quiet table? Yes and no. I'm the Muppet in that hand, aren't I? Well, now I know. Ace Jack again. Let's do the same. that been Ace Jack, that would have been funny because I've said Ace Jack again. Not necessarily funny, but I'd have thought it's funny. If you don't find it funny, then there you go. If it wasn't so late and so noisy, I'd be introducing my little Chewbacca toy that makes the Chewbacca growl every time I win or lose a hand, or just when I feel like it, actually. We've also got a swearing turtle in the house, which is quite funny. It's tempting to keep going, but I won't. Down to 27 and 1:53 AM. But maybe this is the kind of table to still have a chance at stealing more than my fair share of blinds and antes. There's not a lot of raising going on. Maybe this is how Muppet's got all his chips. Tromso. Everybody and his dog seems to be playing poker in Tromso. Ace 9 against Ace 8. Ooh, now we're going to have an all-in from me. Yes is the answer if anybody raises. Got a call after what I've just seen with Ace 8. And if, let's see, we're still up to 3,000. Not that might get us very far. You could see that happening, couldn't you? Or a 9. And now we've got a City now crying into our Pepsi Max. 24,000 chips. That cost us. So I would take a break here and go out, but I've got my webcam set up in a very specific position. But I could do with a quick mini break before we come back and see how long the 2,752 chips last us. Not long, I'm guessing. So what did he go all in with? 10 jack suited, for what that's worth. Anybody who knows the program Bullseye, when people didn't used to win their prize, it'd say, let's see what you would have won. Let's see where we would have been had we won that 23,856 chips before the river came and killed us off. 26,000. Yeah, well, there we go. Not surprisingly, I'm now 25 of 25. All I need to do now is double up, and then double up again. That's twice, and then double up again, and then double up again. How many double ups is that? Then I'll be on about. Then I'll be doing really, really well. So this is where, if someone who was watching this who doesn't play poker was watching, they'd say, well, what's the point? Because you can lose at any point. Which is true, of course you can. Especially chess players would think that, because chess, basically, if you know what your rating. It's like a golf handicap. If you know what your official sort of rating is, your ranking in relation to your opponent, it's a very good indication of what the result's going to be. It's like the boxing adage: a good big un beats a good little un. And with chess, there's just no luck at all. The only luck with chess element is that your opponent could make a massive blunder or mistake, which just doesn't really happen. And if that's the closest, I mean, even that's not luck in a way, is it? But with poker, obviously luck's a massive element, so you just got to take it in your stride. I'm saying this now, but I'm actually strangling the cat. I'm not really. So yeah, it's the kind of game where, as a chess player, that's probably the most difficult aspect to come to terms with, because for me, I was playing full-time chess from about 16 onwards for a good 20 years or so, and you just get used to only having yourself to blame and having a pretty good idea of what your expected results are. You can even look at an expectancy table of a certain. If you list your, say, 10 opponents, you can work out what your expected score should be against those opponents. So you always have a rough idea of how you're going to go. Oh, I'm just watching myself lose with the ace queen suited. And then you get to poker, and suddenly, whereas with chess you could play a perfect game, or not a perfect game, but you can play a very good game, and you're probably going to be rewarded for that. With poker, you can play badly, as I often do, and get lucky, as I often do, or you can play well. Not that I was playing well, but you have to reconcile yourself with the fact that certain bits of when fate steps in, there's just nothing you can do about it. Which is part of the attraction as well, of course. It's almost a bit of a release after playing chess for so long. It was quite liberating playing poker. So now we're 8 and 1600, so I've got no choice but to go all in, really. Well, if we're heads up, we'll go all in. No, we could be heads up. If Muppet folds, which he won't. 2 a.m. Go on then. Didn't have any time to think. Used all my time before. Let's hope it's ace king. Oh, they both have ace king. I just don't think Leningrad doesn't have a hand. Oop, 5 on 9. Ooh. Well, there we go. Hope you found that mildly entertaining. 2 a.m. finish. Almost like it was meant to be. It was just a hand with ace queen suited. We weren't going to not call that one. So that's just how it goes. Ace queen suited, we lost to 10 jack on the river. A bit like monkeys and typewriters, if we just keep playing, if that happens, I'm not disappointed with the way I played all in all. Although I can think of a couple of mistakes. As a chess player, you used to go through your games and analyse them with a fine-tooth comb. And with poker, sometimes I think the hands that you play are pretty evident, even while you're playing them when you've made a mistake. But had the ace queen held up, then it'd be a completely different case to what we have now, and I wouldn't be so critical of myself. So there we go. We'll tune in again tomorrow, and from now on, what I'm going to do is sort of have a set agenda each day, or maybe more than one, and I'll keep you posted. And whatever your favourite aspect of the game is, or your favourite game, hopefully you'll find something useful over the coming weeks and months. So it's goodbye from me, and I'll just stop recording now and bid you all good night.